I didn't catch your name, but thank you. My name is Juliana Nsereko, like you've all heard, and I'm here with my father, Mr. Nsereko. He's also say good evening. He has greeted you. I became, first of all, I'm a teacher, like you've heard, but retired, and then I'm also a social worker by profession and a caretaker. I took some training, but I'm here as with my personal experience, not as any professional. I started caretaking suddenly. I was called home. Mom was sick, and in 2016, and that was the beginning. I've never left because after mom became better in 2018, dad took the relay, whatever button. What happens is when you have someone, an elderly, who needs care, they deteriorate gradually. The gradual changes are so small at times that you cannot note them, but you realize later on that something is amiss. For example, I will keep on giving my personal examples. For example, my mom started with, I cannot walk properly, then falling down. Then it took me a long time to realize that actually her legs were failing, the muscles in her legs. Her hands were so strong, but her legs always gave way or gave away, whichever is the right word. The body fails slowly. The eyes go for some people. Then, like my mom, the legs, and then her ears went. Gradually, at times you would think that she has had, and then she hasn't had. And then at the very end, her mind kept on slipping in and out. And she would forget where to put her legs on the bed. She would ask, where can I put my legs? This side, that side. At first, as a caretaker and who is emotionally involved, you get so confused. And you know where legs are supposed, but the truth is, at times you need a professional tricks to come in and help you realize that actually your person is really changing, and some changes never reverse. Then for dad, he was very strong and doing his work, doing his gardening. Then he got this pain in the leg. The next thing we know, the leg is amputated right from the thigh, up the thigh. And then he lost his sight as well. And he's totally now, his intellect is all there. He can understand, he can hear, he can reason, he can talk. All those are parts of the changes that come as you take care. Their personalities too at times change. Some become like babies. They become so dependent. Mom became so dependent on me. She felt insecure whenever I left, very insecure. But the good thing is that dad was always there. He would call her and she would stabilize. But through it all, we need to keep treating them like you were before. Give them their due respect. Be polite. And they can sense your touch and your voice and your body language. If you are rough, if you are impatient, if you are irritated, those 3 things will convey it to them. They will know that you are impatient with them, they're angry. So whenever you touch them, the touch must be gentle. And
Julian, excuse me. Julian, your network keeps breaking a bit.
Always and respectable. Some to talk to them like babies now that they are peaceful. Hello?
Yes, Julian, your network keeps breaking a bit. Maybe you can try to change the position.
Now,
you keep breaking.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Have you lost a lot?
No. We were just.
I hope not.
Yeah, not so much. You can continue from there.
As I was saying, you need to be very polite with them. If he was called Mr. So-and-so, continue calling him Mr. So-and-so. If he had his titles and he was being addressed by don't drop it. They need more help where, although they are deteriorating. One thing you need to realize, another thing is that the elderly get very lonely, very, very, very lonely. First of all, they lose most of their friends, if not all, and the children because you to work, and at times there are nurses and doctors and these people then. So needs to be there every now and then, if not all the time. And they need to keep on interacting. All these are changes that come into their lives. They need to keep on interacting. If you cannot take them out, bring the interaction within the house. We have now the internet. Use the internet. Put them on TV if they can see. My father cannot, so we use YouTube and the radio. He listens to Namirembe services. He is a singer. He used to be a choir leader, a choir master. We take him to Kaboa Church for choir practice whenever there is transport. And at times he sings along on YouTube. Keep them doing the things they love most. It helps, and it helps them a lot. It also helps you when you see them well and doing the things that they love. The challenges are many. The challenges are many. I've been mentioning them in bits, but there is that health deterioration, and then comes the financial for you, the person who is taking charge, and transportation. Not everybody has a personal car, and transport might become very expensive, especially if you have to get a special hire. If you don't have to take a special hire and you're using public means, that too is expensive in the discomfort it carries along with it. The meals change a lot depending on what the person is going through. And at times, even their appetites drop. For others, they may rise depending on the medication and on the condition of the person. And then another challenge is the helpers we get who are not us. Some need toe-to-toe monitoring. When you are not there, there's something different. When you are there, they're the best. When you are away, they're on their phones and on TV, and they neglect your person. So that too is a challenge to you. You have to be there all the time. One of you, the people the person loves, has to be there all the time. And there is a lot of neglect, even from us, the very people these people used to love. We neglect them, we reject them, we abuse them intentionally or not intentionally. What causes us to do that? At times, even us need therapy. When your person is very in that condition, your emotional state also goes off, and you also need to be helped. For others, it is work. You really cannot help it. You neglect them because you have to work and get that so much needed money to take care of them and to take care of your family. Rejection, that one might be outright. It is unfortunate that some people really reject their parents. They really reject them, and that is sad. But you need to look out for that. And you need to look out for the right people with empathy and sympathy and love, who are going to love them. Some of our parents reject the carers, reject the nurses, and this also can frustrate you. And another important thing is you, the carer, also needs to take care of yourself so that you don't break down. You need offs. You need, if you are several siblings, you need to make rotas so that each one of you is there at a certain time. I am fortunate or unfortunate that my siblings are not there. The Lord took them, so I've been at it all alone. But I don't regret, because God gave me a good nurse, and He has been giving me good carers and good friends who come in to advise every now and then. You need some time off, really, some time off. You also need to know that their needs change. Some may have incontinence. You have to buy something to stop the flow of the how do I term it? Number one, the doctors call it, or its English name is urine, and others it's number two. And as you work on them, you don't have to show that it is you. No, they did it for you when you were tiny. Do it to them with love. And you also need protective gear. You need gloves all the time, because you don't want to infect them with what you have picked elsewhere, and you don't want them to infect you with what might have got into their bodies. And then there are other gadgets you may need, like at times the doctor may recommend a bed, a hospital bed, but if you don't have it, leave the double bed. Always get a small bed, like 4x6. That bed is enough or is comfortable for you to take care of the person safely. Then you need special sheets, special mattresses, air mattresses. At times, if the patient cannot move, at others you don't. It depends on your patient. There are many, many, many things you may need, and these can be only given on a one-on-one or when you ask questions, so that I may give them to you. But always, the carer needs help. The carer needs good diet, as well as the patient. The carer needs mental relief and support. It is important that you, the carer, is in good form. There, your parent too will be in good form. I think that is enough, so that something else may go on.
Yes, thank you. Julian, actually, you still have like 20 minutes. I mean, like more 15 minutes. So if you have any more information you can want to share with us, especially if you've talked of that you went for a course which you did about caring, what inspired you and what new things do you learn from that you've been able to achieve that for me who has not done it, I can get motivated to think about it. And maybe any other information you would want to add on.
I had muted. In that course, we learned how to, really, it was personal care and bedside care, how to bath the person in bed, how to change clothes, how to turn them around, how to take them out of the bed onto the wheelchair or a chair and back, and how to help them help themselves. Because at that stage, you don't want to do everything. You don't want them to do nothing, because then all their muscles will go. You encourage them to do as much as possible for themselves. So even if they're going to have a bed bath, you encourage them to use a cloth to rub themselves, you can wash, to brush their teeth. We were taught how to pedicure and manicure them, and all those, and to change diapers in case the person cannot. You need to be able to change that diaper, and a clean person and a clean you, and also to clean their environment wherever they are. The place needs to be very clean, their room, their house, everything needs to be very clean. And then also to prepare their meals. But the meals are very varied. It depends on what is recommended for a particular person. But most of them don't do oily food. And that is easy. You steam and you find a way around. That needs a cuisine session. And you also need to know that their gadgets, are they called gadgets? The wheelchairs, the Zima walkers, all those things need to be cleaned. You need to find a routine of cleaning them. You may not pour water on the wheelchair because it's needed on a daily almost, but it needs to be, you need to rub it well with something to make it clean. Otherwise, the person will keep on getting infected. And if the toilet is shared, you can add on something on that toilet. Some are bought, but if you cannot buy, you can get someone to make you an addition to raise it a bit for the person to be able to sit on comfortably. My father used to make it for his mom, but he's lucky that at this stage and this age, there toilet raisers that are shops. And if the toilet is shared, you need to have some kind of sanitizer. Maybe if you cannot use it, you can use Revlon diluted to clean the toilet seat all the time, so that your elderly person does not pick whatever someone else has left there that will make him sick. And the other thing you need to know about them is they lose when they lose water, if they haven't taken in enough fluids, they may act as if they are going into dementia. Dementia is to have a mental state where someone forgets that she used to get it so much. It used to clear. I don't know, I've rushed through it because I thought it would be prayers mainly. So for the rest, you could ask me questions and I fill in.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, that was also very important that you've shared with us. And I have some questions here for you already, and maybe we can work together as we answer them. And then so I'm encouraging members to post some questions in the chat in case you have anything that you want to ask, either verbally or that which could be by show of hand, or you can use the chat box to put your question there. We'll be able to read it and be able to be helped. Thank you so much, Juliana. You're doing a good job and you're encouraging us very well. So you talked of some signs that people should be paying attention, especially like physical signs. But I want to bring you back to the mental health signs that we need to know. What signs should, like, what are some of the mental health signs that decline as caregivers that you've always been able to witness?
For the elderly, the sign might be subtle as doing a chore. Let's say that the person used to do, that person would let's say clean the tables, the chairs, and necessarily or unnecessarily, and all the time. So that is a sign. Another is forgetting that something has been said, has been posted. Remember when children are growing and they keep on asking, Mommy, what is this? And then within a short time, Mommy, what is this? Mommy, what is this? So they go back to that stage seemingly. But for some, it is a decline in the mental whatever. And they are going into dementia at times, one type of dementia or another. And at times they forget who you are, even you yourself, the person who has been there. They forget who you are, and another moment they know you. They don't know if they had seen you in the morning or greeted you, and the next morning they know that they had. So it comes on in bits, and it might take it might happen this week and then not happen at all for the next stretch of months, and then happen again till it starts to become more frequent and more frequent. And at times, elderly, which I had left out, people keep quiet when they are hurt. They go quiet, they go silent, and they won't communicate. And that is very, very sad even to watch. They go very sad and they fear the people around them because some hurt them, or they fear to be hurt by them. So they suffer silently, and that can make your heart bleed.
Well, thank you so much. These are very good tips. Maybe, and you talked of how your dad got sick in short after that, his leg was amputated. That means that as we are taking care of these people, that those shocks which hit you as a caretaker or as a family, and of course it's emotionally draining. So I want to know how you, as a caretaker who had had two people, and it, of course at some point your mom went to be with the Lord, how have you been able to keep strong, be resilient, cope up with the situation, you as an individual, but also as a family? What is that psycho support that you've been able to not have, which has helped all of you to remain strong, and of course now take care of your dad? Because now, as you said, that your dad is now, I think you said somehow his sight is affected. I'm sure all those are some of the shocks. How you could see someone who was very brilliant, singing in church, doing A, B, C, D, but now he's helpless. I think sometimes you may even shed a tear in silence that he doesn't see you, or in privacy that he doesn't see you, understand. So how do you manage that kind of emotional shock as a family? How do you help each other? so that you remain sober and stronger, to make sure that the patient doesn't even know that you are also becoming
Actually, my dad,
tired.
although my dad cannot do stuff on his own, he can use a Zima walker with the help of the nurse, very close, directing him now this way, that way, and his one leg, till they reach the wheelchair and he sits. And he has a very strong will, and that is what has kept us going. He has a will to go on, a will to live, a will to do it. And that will has never died, although he went into depression immediately after amputation because he couldn't believe he went in with 2 legs and came out with 1. That one was God. We got prayers. We were in Mengo and we saw God work through the medical staff, big and small. They would come to his room and pray. They would come to his room and pray for him all the time, and that kept him up. So we've continued in prayer. And it really is prayer. My mom couldn't hear, but she could see. So she was always in her Bible. And we always knew she was the stronger one. And we're surprised when she just went last year. She had a brief sickness of 2 weeks to breathe, and the Lord took her. So we went into shock again, but we came out. We came out through the support was friends this time when mom left. I had a circle of friends who I didn't know that they were that strong, and they came and were with us through it all. They came, they sang with my dad. Knowing that he loved singing, and family is one of the good circles that came singing with dad hymns, and that pulled him out. And pardon, it's not clear. Hello?
No, you're okay. You're okay. We can hear you very well. Continue.
Oh, I had some cackling sound. I thought you were speaking.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know about others, but what the Lord has done, we cannot tell it all in this family. It is the Lord. It is the Lord. And it is at that point when my dad finally gave his life to Christ. And that too has on hymns. We put on YouTube hymns, and he sings. He sings along, and he sings along. At times, one time he told me that, he slept off and woke up and sang. And he told me that I've been singing with the angels. So God, it is God, worship, praise, and of course, trying to keep bad news away from him, sad news. If the news is so sad and devastating, it never gets to him. It never gets close to him. So we need to protect each other and to protect our people. But you need people. That is how you keep your sanity. You need other people. You need to consult other people. You need people who are in the same condition or situation. You need them. I think that's what I have at the moment.
Wow, thank you, Juliana. The other questions in the chat, and someone is saying, okay, someone is appreciating it. Thank you so much for looking after elderly parents, and is asking, how do you interest them on food choices? That's one question. How do you interest them on food choices? And maybe another one which I can combine, it says, I have personally experienced that they will always want assurance of our love and care for them. And then he asks, what practical ways can I use to give my elderly assurance that I love and care about them regardless, and that they are not a burden to me? Like, how do you show them that you love them and they shouldn't feel that they are a burden to you? So yeah, some of those tips on the food choices and the practical ways on making sure that they feel cared
I'll
and
start
loved.
the latter, but you are there. See you. Even if you are doing some of your work around them and you are there, that is very comforting to them. And if you are talking to them is important. If you can, you talk to them, you chat, you talk about this, that, the other, and you bring in the old stories, laughing with them. And if you are unable to be there physically, a phone call is always fancy. A video one is very good. But what they love most is your presence. At this point, they don't love anything else than you and your other siblings and your children. That is what they love most. Interesting them in food, they're like babies again. For some, you have to really think. You have to think out of the. My mom did not like boiled eggs, and dad was an all-rounder. He ate everything. He still eats everything that comes along. So for mom, you would have to get the eggs, and then she in addition she never used to take fried eggs. So what we would do is I would put the egg in a dish. I would smear a little olive oil in there just with a brush, put in the egg, put on vegetables like onions and the spices she loved. Then you put that small dish into another one of water and you cover and you steam. When you take it out, it will be very nice. You just make sure it doesn't go hard. At times it goes rubber hard if you take it takes too long. And she loved raw tomatoes. So I would cut the raw tomatoes and more raw onions, but very thin because the teeth had a problem, extremely thin, or you grate them. That was her favorite. For the rest, you also had to think out of the box. Do this, do that, do this. If she rejects it, she loved milk. So at times you played about with milk and you put in stuff for her. And their appetites at times is so low, even if they've eaten, you need to supplement with things like Ensure. There is Ensure powder. It is, you Google but it is good. It is drinks, and they would one night order if we had it. The pharmacy, first pharmacy has it, and other pharmacies, I guess. Yeah, and you also need to find out. At times they forget that they've eaten. You have to check and see eaten, or they've left the food and it's rotten, whether they've been given food or not. At times the carers may give food, the person refuses, takes it back, and the person forgets that he hasn't eaten. You have to find a way. And for some where you don't trust people, please, like you do to your children, put in cameras and see what is going on with mom or dad or grandma, and see whether they've eaten or not, things like that.
Wow.
And have I? Yeah, I think I've answered both.
Yeah, thank you. You are giving us very wonderful tips, and we're grateful. Even actually, some people have also shared their tips, like Aunt Petrina. She gave a comment on of course, when parents can't recognize you. She's saying really disappointing and saddening when your parent forgets you, but you need to know that the Lord never forgets us and never forgets them, and He never leaves us alone. That's an encouragement. Also, Irene, she's saying that one major mistake others do is to confine these people in one place. Take them out once in a while, even just for a ride. Allow them to see the environment. Thank you so much, Irene. Reverend Benjamin has added, if they love to sing, try to always sing for them and with them. The song they used to love, it refreshes their soul and gives them hope again that they are not essentials or needed again. Otherwise, thank you so much for the great presentation, allowing them to tell you things of the past and giving them your attention is always key in their love. These are experiences from people who are really also doing the same. Hans Petrin has added, check on them every day. You can start with what they used to love, eat long ago, arrange it beautifully. Have a regular blood check with their doctor. Some illnesses are so difficult to take to us who are not medical. Wow, these are very wonderful tips from people who have also tested those waters and they are really helping us. We are still receiving more questions from people in case you still have any. We still have some good time and we can learn from each other. So I still have some questions, Juliana, for you, which have come in my inbox. Someone someone is saying, what are the most important aspects to consider when hiring professional caregivers? It talked as if you have a nurse, so someone wants to know some of those aspects we should consider when hiring those professional caregivers. Maybe any other caregiver. Of course, you already mentioned some things, especially when it comes to their health. But there could be some of those things, especially with these professionals, that we may need to know.
First of all, even before the caregiver comes, you need to have the gadgets like the stethoscope that are yours and not the caregivers. The thermometer, the pressure machine, at least those are the basic ones. You need them in the house. And since you are not a medic, you can buy an automated one for blood pressure, so that if anything happens and the doctor asks what's the blood pressure like, you can self-help. For the and those who have diabetes, those at least they always have their, how do you call it? I've forgotten it. Where you prick and check the blood, whatever level in the blood sugar in the whatever. For the caretaker, you need someone, like I said, a caring person. And you cannot tell these people till they're there, because whenever someone is coming for an interview, they always front their best. We normally get to know them from observation. The nurse I had at first in hospital, because after the amputation, it is the surgeon himself who told me before that after I amputate him, you need a nurse full-time and a male one, because you won't manage him. And it is the hospital that recommended the first nurse, and he recommended the second one when he was going, and that second one is still here. And whenever he goes on leave, he brings another. And I've not been disappointed. The ones I was disappointed in are the ones when I was still using, how do you call them? The organizations that have them. The first organizations I used, their fees were high. I'm sorry if you have an organization there. And the nurse was given peanuts of what you pay. And so their work was half-hearted. Was half-hearted. but they knew what they were doing. Only one, and that one was not from an organization, who came with typhoid fever, and the physician just told me to get rid of him because he was a risk to the patient. The rest have not been really bad. For the organization, if you want, some organizations, they give you their best and they are answerable if someone is not good. If someone is not good, they're answerable. But those I've got from them, apart from the batch I got, they are good. They were good. And then we exchange. They can change whenever you don't want one. But these days I use freelance ones, if you know what that means. Those who are on their own. They are better for me. Better arrangements. They are more flexible. Have I forgotten the question? But no. You need to know a few things. You need to know a few things. If you are taking on a nurse, you need to know. You need to know where he was. He took his nursing course, and there you can do a check on him. Is someone talking?
No, no one. You're the one on the floor.
Okay. You do a background check on that person concerning what he has said at his school, or you get someone who knows him. You need to know where where he originates from as far as parents are concerned. Where does he come? Where are his parents, siblings, and all that can be done at the interview level, and also his level of medical training, because they come in different levels. And don't underscore the title. And don't underestimate the ones who have a diploma or a certificate. The ones who have a certificate, I've realized, are very, very, very hands-on, especially I'm promoting some whatever. Those who come from Nkozi, they are very hands-on. They really know everything and they work. What have I left out when you are recruiting? If you are getting someone who is not medical but a carer, you need to know if he's ever worked before and where. And if you can get those people, find out his how much he knows. And we realized much later on when a medical person came, and my dad got some infection, and we were deep in the village. We didn't know what it was. When this medical personnel came, he checked everything, and he came to that, I've forgotten its name, that casing where they keep the pricks for blood sugar checks. And he found one which was bloody. And he asked me, "Mom, do you use this? Madam, do you use this time and again?" I said, "It can't be, because we throw everything there so that we take them to the right place, those sharp instruments. We don't throw them in the village. We bring them to town and we pay and they take them." And he said, I asked him that, "So and so, did you use this more than once?" He said, "Oh yeah, I use it and I use it again." And so the bag was bloody, and they told us it is what was infecting. It was what was causing the infection. So even if the person comes and tells you, I know how to take the blood pressure, and he's not medical and he hasn't been with many, many patients over years, train him again, find a medical personnel to train him if you want him to do that, or don't let him do anything invasive on your parent. That small thing. They're not supposed to do that in those wares for the doctors. Don't take shortcuts with your thing that is important. You need to work out before the person starts the days for his leave or her leave. They get tired too. They really get tired. And remember, if they are staying in, they really get tired and drain, like your sisters, like your brothers. Whatever they eat at home, I suggest is what they should eat. Don't segregate them in any way. They are part of the family at that point, and they are taking care of a precious jewel for all of you. So take them as precious also. Their treatment is also important. And make sure they're clean. That one. For some of these things, you need to be there to monitor, and then you correct them with love. You correct them with love. Another thing is you also need to know that they are not gods. They have weaknesses too. There was one but his weakness was the room. So I just got someone else to clean the room. I just took that off him, and someone else started cleaning. But for everything and taking care of his rubbish, he did very perfectly well. So any other, please? Every family, I've seen Petrina, your comment, every family is different. Some relatives are very good. They come in handy, but others take you for granted. And they really start feeling entitled over your patient and over you and over the rest. So it depends on what kind of relatives you have. Some relatives come in handy as carers. Others, it is best you keep them very far and they come as visitors and go. Another question, please. Hello?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, please, we can.
I was reading this comment that is from Light, that sunlight is very important for both immunity wellness and physiological boost. Staying in the dark or out of sun causes depression, and both these issues will damage the person's immunity, so daily expose the sun for at least 40 minutes. That's a good therapy. Benja is saying studying the character of the individual and the family background is also key. It is good to do basic medical tests to the bedside, help you get on a day of arrival. Typhoid, hepatitis, HIV, common respiratory illnesses, those things should be tested. Once those things cross to your person with low immunity, you're in for a new battle. Caretakers must be kind and loving. They become like family. And if you're a believer, the same faith, so you can pray, sing, and fellowship together. Honestly, honest and truth are key. When they tell lies, it can be disastrous. The elderly person must love them. The two must click. And Anticipation has added, I have found a blend of relative and professional help. Well, members, these are very wonderful tips we have gotten from each one of us here. May God bless you so much. I think I'm going to welcome Reverend Benjamin to extend a vote of thanks and give a comment, and then find a prayer for us as we end our night. But we are grateful. Thank you so much, all of you, for attending. Then after